What if I told you that what you're witnessing right now is not just a video, but alchemy in motion? Yes, actual transformation unfolding in real time before your eyes. This isn't just another piece of content floating in the endless sea of the internet. If you clicked, if you stayed, it's because something deep within you perhaps even unconsciously called this moment into existence. A quiet inner whisper seeking change, craving truth, and in the world of spiritual alchemy, nothing is random. What we often label as chance is merely a law we haven't yet recognized. Everything operates by principle. Everything is mental. Everything vibrates. Your thought was the cause, this moment, the effect. You feel it, even if your rational mind resists. Because deep down, something inside you already knows. This is no coincidence. There's a book, veiled in mystery and protected for centuries by initiates, known as the Kybalion. It doesn't appear to just anyone. It emerges in your life when you're truly ready to pierce the veil of illusion. And to begin your transformation not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Your presence here is not accidental. Whether you grasp every word or feel confused by the mystery, it doesn't matter, because you don't need more information. You need to remember, and what you're about to hear is not new knowledge, it's ancient truth, returning to your awareness. By the end of this journey, you'll discover how to apply the 7 Hermetic principles of the Kybalion to shift your reality in a clear, direct, and irreversible way. But first, you must hear what only those who are ready can truly hear. Long before science became science and even before religion took its modern shape, there was a name spoken in reverence among sages, philosophers, and high priests, Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, thrice mastered. Thrice initiated into the deepest mysteries of existence. In Egypt, he was Thoth, the god of wisdom, of writing, of time itself. In Greece, he became Hermes, the divine messenger, the patron of hidden knowledge and sacred communication. From their fusion arose an archetype so powerful it would echo across millennia, encoded in glyphs, in symbols, in sacred texts. Hermes was said to be the founder of the first mystery school in Egypt, a place not of lectures but of inner awakening, a temple where truth was not handed to you, but revealed when your soul was ripe. His teachings were sealed, encrypted, protected, giving birth to the term we still use today, Hermetic knowledge, truth so sacred it could only be accessed by those who had crossed the threshold. Many ancient writings have been attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, countless scrolls, treatises, and sacred teachings, and yet much of this profound legacy was tragically lost, particularly in the great fire that engulfed the Library of Alexandria. But not all was destroyed. A spark survived, and from that ember, a new flame arose, a work that would carry the pulse of Hermetic wisdom into the modern age. The Kybalion, published in 1908, written by authors who chose anonymity, signing only as the 3 initiates. But make no mistake, the Kybalion is no ordinary book. It is a coded manuscript, a vibrational key designed to unlock the ancient essence of Hermeticism in a language the modern world could receive. Though written recently, its roots are ancient. Its spirit breathes the same fire as the hieroglyphs etched into the sacred stones of Egyptian temples. This lineage has always been oral, symbolic, and vibrational, not made for popularity, but for transmission. That's why so few have heard of it, and even fewer have understood its depth. And this brings us to the first Hermetic principle, the cornerstone of it all. Mentalism. All is mind. The entire universe, every planet, every galaxy, the cycles of nature, human emotions, memories. Dreams is not just in the mind of God, but his mind. This is not poetry, this is not metaphor. To the initiated, this is literal. You are not standing outside the universe looking in. You are inside it. More than that, you are inside the mind of the all. Now imagine a mind so vast, so powerful, that every thought it produces becomes reality. That is the primordial consciousness from which everything springs. The Hindus called it Mahat, the great cosmic mind. The Gnostics called it Pleroma, the fullness. Hermeticists simply call it the all-unnameable, infinite, eternal. But what does that mean for you? Here and now, it means your reality is shaped not from the outside, but from within. Your thoughts aren't passive. They are creative forces. Every emotion, belief, and inner pattern you hold acts as a brush painting the canvas of your life. Reality does not act upon you, it responds to you. It's as if we're living in a divine simulation, not of wires and codes, but of principles and vibration. And the most stunning truth of all, you are a co-creator in this system. Your mind, your emotions, your vibration, they shape events around you, moment by moment. This is the hidden force the ancients knew. This is the truth that's been passed down in silence, waiting for you to awaken to your role as the artist of your own experience. This is why Buddha taught that suffering arises from the mind, why Jesus declared that faith could move mountains, and why Hermes, long before either, revealed the foundational truth. Everything is mental. It's not just mysticism, it's reality. And even modern science is starting to catch up. In the field of quantum physics, the observer effect has stunned researchers. It shows that the mere presence of a conscious observer can alter the behavior of subatomic particles. Matter responds to mind, energy bends to awareness. So, if the universe is mind and you are a spark of that divine, infinite mind, what then is truly stopping you from consciously shaping your life? When you begin to see that all reality is crafted from the inside out, another question inevitably arises. Why then does life feel so random? Why do some people seem to suffer endlessly while others move effortlessly through life? The answer is not cruel nor mysterious. It is simply law. As the Kybalion makes clear, nothing happens by chance. What we call luck, coincidence, or fate is often just a spiritual law we haven't yet recognized. The universe is not chaos. It is a vast, intelligent design, an infinite symphony, governed by 7 universal laws. These laws don't ask for your belief. They don't require your permission. Just as gravity works, regardless of whether you believe in it, so do these hermetic principles, constantly, quietly, completely. One of the most powerful is the law of cause and effect. Everything you experience today is not a random event, it's a consequence, a result of thoughts, emotions, and energies you've maintained over time. This is karma. This is subtle physics. This is hermeticism in motion. To illustrate this principle, let me share a story. In a quiet village encircled by mountains, there lived an old gardener known for his serenity and wisdom. Every day, he tended his garden with great care, even when storms destroyed his crops or the sun scorched the earth. A frustrated young man from the same village, weary of his own misfortunes, approached the old man one day. "Why does life treat you gently while I suffer?" he asked. The old man simply smiled and replied, "Come meet me tomorrow morning. I'll show you." At sunrise, they climbed a hill. The old man handed the youth a small seed. "Plant it. he said, "and return every day to water it." The young man did. Days passed, weeks. At first, nothing happened. Finally, a sprout appeared. The young man smiled with relief. But one stormy night, strong winds tore the fragile shoot from the ground. Angry and disheartened, the young man exclaimed, "See, nothing ever works out for me." The old gardener looked at him with calm eyes and said, "You want to harvest an oak tree with the patience of a flower." Then he added, "That was just one cause among millions. Your life is the total harvest of every seed you've ever planted, consciously or not. Some seeds sprout quickly. Others take years. Some you've forgotten you even buried. But no seed escapes the law. And within that simple story lies the beating heart of the law of cause and effect. You are not a victim of random forces tossing your life like dice. You are living the echo of your past vibrations, your thoughts, emotions, actions, desires, denials, all returning to you in the only way the universe knows: experience. This law doesn't punish or reward, it responds, it reflects. Just as surely as sound bounces in a cave or waves ripple from a stone dropped in water, so too does every energetic output find its way back to you. But even as we begin to accept this truth, there will be times when things seem to unravel. You move forward, then feel pulled backward. The sensation of losing ground can be deeply discouraging. Yet even this is part of the divine order, because behind it is another hermetic law, the law of rhythm. Everything moves, everything flows. Life, like a pendulum, swings between poles: energy, emotion, relationships, finances, health, and spirituality. They all oscillate. Sometimes the rhythm is gentle, other times extreme, but it never stops. Nothing rises endlessly, nothing falls forever. Just as the ocean has its tides, just as night follows day, just as winter gives way to spring, your life too unfolds in cycles. These cycles are not signs of failure. They are the breathing rhythm of the universe itself. Even financial markets obey this law. Seasoned investors know that infinite growth is an illusion. Corrections always come. The key is to remain centered, not misled by the highs, and not broken by the lows. This is rhythm, and there is an even deeper layer to this principle. Plato once said that the soul evolves in a spiral, which means that even when you feel like you're circling back to the same point, you're not. You're revisiting that point from a higher level of consciousness. It's not repetition, it's ascension. You're not walking in circles, you're climbing a spiral. Picture yourself climbing a spiraling mountain. You pass the same bends, the same vistas, but each time, from a higher altitude. What once stirred you deeply now only brushes the surface. What once felt like an ending now reveals itself as simply a turn in the path. That feeling of regression, it's an illusion. It's just the curve of your own spiral of transformation. And realizing this changes everything. When you embrace the law of rhythm, you stop resisting the cycles of life. You stop fighting the ebb and flow. Instead, you begin to use them. You learn to dive inward during contraction phases, reflecting, healing, strengthening, and then rise outward with awareness during expansion, expressing, creating, manifesting. The key isn't to avoid movement. The secret is learning to dance with it. But rhythm is just one current. Another hermetic law reveals itself when we look closer, the law of polarity. Everything has two poles, but not as opposites in conflict. Rather as extremes along the same continuum. Cold and hot are not separate substances, they are different expressions of the same essence. Temperature, The same principle applies to emotions, fear and love, grief and joy, chaos and order. These aren't enemies, they are vibrational variations of the same energetic thread. The only thing that separates them is frequency. The more subtle the vibration, the higher the expression. Matter vibrates slowly so it feels solid, dense, limited. As vibration increases, matter becomes energy. Faster still, it becomes light. Beyond that, it becomes spirit. And at the highest frequencies, all things dissolve into unity, into what mystics call the One, the All, or simply God. And here lies the secret of transmutation. You don't have to destroy who you are. You don't have to eradicate your flaws or deny your pain. True alchemy isn't about suppression, it's about elevation. Raise the vibration of what already exists within you. Fear can be alchemized into courage, attachment into conscious love, anger into sacred action, pain into the spark of awakening. This is inner alchemy, not turning physical lead into gold, but transforming low vibrational states into radiant ones, not by denying them, but by changing their frequency. Just as the ancient alchemist worked with fire, adjusting the heat with care, precision, and patience, so too must the practitioner of Hermetic wisdom. Learn to observe their internal states and apply will, timing, and intention to raise their energy. This is vibrational mastery. This is what it means to awaken your purpose, to put philosophy into motion, to transmute thought into evolution. This is the work of the inner path. At a certain point on this path, something begins to stir within you, not loudly but profoundly. It's subtle, like a gentle shift in wind, but it changes everything. As you start living the Hermetic principles, as you make inner alchemy a practice, your awareness expands, and with that expansion, you begin to realize something. The thing you once called your life purpose may not have been a final destination after all, but rather a soul-crafted invitation. A glowing orb tossed forward by your higher self, not to anchor you, but to move you. How many times have you pursued something with your entire being, believing it was the pinnacle of your mission, only to arrive there and feel nothing, as if the meaning had dissolved? This isn't failure, it's the nature of the path. And Hermes Trismegistus said it best. The path reveals the seeker. You don't have to know it all before you start. The veil lifts as you walk. The act of moving forward reveals who you are becoming. Every desire you've ever chased, every goal that once lit you up, those weren't wrong. They were mirrors reflecting the exact state of your consciousness at that time. And when consciousness evolves, so do desires. That's why so many dreams fade before they're fulfilled, not because you were weak or inconsistent, but because you changed. The version of you that wanted those things no longer sits at the wheel. A new you, more refined, more aware, has taken the reins. And that, my friend, is not failure. That is evolution. Contrary to popular belief, purpose is not static. It's not a one-time revelation carved into the stone of your soul. It lives, it breathes, it grows with you, it shifts as your vibration rises. Imagine you're standing in an open field, tossing glowing spheres into the distance. Each ball is a vision, a mission, a calling. You sprint toward one, committed, determined, immersed. But then, along the path, another orb appears, brighter, lighter, more aligned, and it's natural to pivot. The first ball wasn't a mistake, it did its job. It moved you. It pulled you out of inertia. It got you going when nothing else could. It trained you to trust movement, to leap into the unknown, to expand your idea of what's possible. The true error isn't changing course. The mistake is clinging to an outdated purpose simply because you're afraid of seeming inconsistent. But what looks like inconsistency to the world is often the soul's evolution in motion. And maybe right now, you feel it again, a subtle signal, a new glowing orb appearing on your horizon. It may show up as restlessness in your chest, a persistent thought, a gentle, yet unshakable urge to move, to explore a new city, start a new path, dive into a subject you never even considered before, even if it doesn't quite make sense yet. Even if your rational mind tries to dismiss it, something is being born. That's the whisper of awakened consciousness. Because purpose isn't a line you follow to a fixed destination. Purpose is a spiral, ever unfolding, ever rising, and with every turn, you gain altitude. You see things differently. What once felt essential now feels small. That's not failure. That's clarity. You don't need to blame yourself for changing your mind. You don't need to feel guilty for releasing an old dream. Every ball you chased, every path you took, every so-called misstep was, in truth, the next right step. Purpose isn't out there. It's not a trophy waiting at the end of the road. Purpose lives within you and reveals itself through your movement, through your willingness to say yes to your process. So keep throwing those orbs ahead. Keep walking with curiosity. Keep letting your heart lead, and the path will keep unfolding. The more you embody these hermetic laws, the more you realize they aren't isolated truths. They are facets of the same jewel. Try to separate one from the others and you unravel the whole tapestry. Talk about rhythm, and you inevitably touch polarity. Understand cause and effect. And you must first acknowledge mentalism. Each law is a doorway, but together, they form a cathedral of universal intelligence. Everything moves, everything vibrates, all of creation pulses in dynamic rhythm. Polarity teaches us that everything exists on a spectrum, hot and cold, love and fear, shadow and light. Through awareness, we can shift from one pole to another, we can transmute. Rhythm reminds us that life moves in waves, breathing in, breathing out. The tide rises, it falls, expansion follows contraction. This law doesn't ask us to control the cycle, but to dance with them, to move in harmony with the flow of life. And at the heart of it all is the vibrational engine that drives reality. Most people go through life pulled by these forces, reacting to the swings of polarity, the ebbs of rhythm, the echoes of causes they don't remember initiating. But you are no longer a passive passenger. You're waking up to the truth. You can navigate reality consciously. Those who don't just study these principles but live them with awakened attention become something rare, alchemists of their own reality. Because the moment you begin to truly see the laws in motion, to witness the source code of existence unfolding around you, a deeper layer of truth emerges. You begin to sense what separates the unconscious from the conscious. There are two kinds of people navigating this life. The first is overwhelmed, pulled under by the waves, trying to force the world into shape without ever understanding the currents within. The second is different. The second sees the flows, the curves, the rhythm of the water. They don't resist. They observe, adjust, align, and suddenly they seem to glide through life. That is the difference between conflict and flow, between unconscious reaction and conscious mastery. And once you grasp this, one question becomes inevitable: how do you use the Kybalion to change your reality once and for all? Because you weren't drawn to this knowledge just to admire it, you came to activate it. So let's make it practical. Let's walk through the 7 Hermetic principles, not as theories, but as tools ready to be used now. Mentalism. Everything starts in the mind. Your reality is shaped by your dominant thoughts. Try this. If your life feels chaotic, begin by organizing your space, clean your home, nourish your body, clear your inner dialogue. The external is always reflecting the internal. Correspondence. As within, so without. If your relationships feel confusing, look at yourself. Talk. If your environment feels messy, look within. Practice. Bring order to the micro to shift the macro. Start small. Start now. Vibration. Everything vibrates. You shift reality by shifting your emotional frequency. Application. When you feel anger, move. Create. Express. When fear arises, turn it into discernment. When sadness appears, let it push you toward deeper meaning. Rhythm. Life moves in cycles. Peaks and valleys are natural. No one is high. Vibe all the time. Wisdom. Rest in the valleys. Act during the peaks. Don't make life changing decisions from your lowest state. Polarity. Everything contains its opposite. Hot and cold, joy and grief, love and fear, they are points on the same spectrum. Use this. Shift by degrees. Move toward the opposite pole with awareness. Don't fight the dark, raise the light. Cause and effect. Your present is a result of past energy. You're planting seeds constantly. Reminder. Every thought, every feeling, every intention has a ripple. Choose them wisely. Gender. The masculine is action and direction. The feminine is intuition, creation, gestation. Balance this. Listen deeply, then act clearly. Value feeling as much as doing. You don't need to master everything at once. You just need to begin. Align your being with the laws. And your world will begin to reflect that shift. And when you do, you'll begin to see others just like you awakening, stepping into their light. This is how it begins. See you in the next video.